captured Imperial robotics scheduled to be struck.
That is just like the best casting ever. Welcome back to my channel. My name is SKYMAN Universe, and your Star Wars quote for today. We would never do anything without the approval of the Senate. You assume too much. Perp quote. And today we're going to be reacting to chapter 22 of The Mandalorian season 3. Last episode was great, but before we get into any of that, Star Wars Celebration is just around the corner. It's a couple of days away. The immense planning and everything that's been going on in costume making has just been insane. My head's just in a complete, but I'm so excited to go there. I didn't get the panels which I wanted, like the Lucasfilm one, but I got a couple of the others, which is really cool. But yeah, I can't wait to be there, be among Star Wars fans. I look forward to saying hello to whoever I bump into. Just watch out for an Obi-Wan Kenobi. I seriously can't wait. It's literally, I've been waiting years for this. Last time we went was in 2016. It's just so much planning involved to get everything right. Being able to live stream it will be pretty awesome as well. I'm going to take my camera down there and record as much as possible. So I might, break tradition from this channel. Meeting fans, seeing cosplay, getting pictures with Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen. I mean, yeah. What more could you want? But talking about Celebration, because it's just around the corner, I feel like this is the last thing that they could show us at the moment to be a massive talking point for Celebration. So not that I'm getting my hopes or expectations up ridiculously high for the Mandalorian episode today. Partially, I think, well, imagine having like a massive reveal, something, I don't know, a big plot twist, and then everyone's going to be talking about it, Celebration, and really get the hype going. Last week's chapter I really loved. I always like seeing Grief Karga in there. I think he's a great character and plays off well with the Mandalorian. And the fact that Mandalorians have sort of returned there as well to where they were before, that was pretty awesome to see there. The only thing, like I said, the tweak that I would have made is just show the sheer amount of numbers and population for the village. Like, they can perfectly CGI literally everything they want, and they've done it so well you just don't even notice. So I'm pretty sure adding some villagers in the background, or hundreds of them, would really sort of up the scale of the importance of the town and how it's spread, not just a couple of however many actors you can fit in. And that's always the difference between having a movie production and a TV production, and that's Star Wars needs to be big, it needs to be bold and extraordinary to look at. And so there's just, those sort of minor tweaks, and it makes me wonder how they're going to, if there's some battle on Mandalore, if they're reclaiming it from whom, I wonder, then how many Mandalorians are they going to show? A couple here and there. There's got to be like this epic scale, epic proportions, all these Mandalorians showing up. That would just be so good and make it really feel big. Because one of the Star Wars films, which name I will not mention, they made a great job at making Star Wars seem very small and like there was no one there. and I don't think that's the way to go. I always like sort of expanding and seeing the pure scale of Star Wars. There is one thing which I'm wondering about, and that's sort of the story with Grogu. And he's sure his training to be Mandalorian, a founding, etc., etc. And I think that's a good way to go, but it doesn't seem to be focusing on them as much anymore. It seems to be side characters, and especially Bo-Katan, and it's almost starting to feel like it's more so about her than the man, Din Djarin and Grogu, who I think are the essence and they are the pure importance of these episodes. Now I think he'll probably go off and do something by himself now, but yeah, it's a strange thing because you've kind of got plot points in place like taking back Mandalore, but it's not revealing sort of anything. So this episode we're going into another chapter where we don't have a clue what's going on, and I kind of like that, but I kind of I want to know everything. I suppose it's probably best not to know and have the surprise. So like I said, just before Celebration, I really hope that there's going to be something in here, Luke Skywalker, that's going to be really amazing and play off really well. I wonder if Boba Fett's going to show up. Moff Gideon, where the hell are you? Come on, we need to see you. And the fact that cliffhanger at the end of the last chapter with Mandalorian armor with Moff Gideon. So I assume there's probably a bad collection of Mandalorians who've probably sworn allegiance to the Empire, and Moff Gideon is very much a part of that and friends with them. So that creates the sort of civil war element. So if, you know, Bo-Katan and Din Djarin and everyone turn up to Mandalore and, oh, look, there's already, you know, Moff Gideon and the other Mandalorians there, and that's probably where the battle sort of takes place. Then Moff Gideon probably betrays everyone, and the Mandalorians get together, unite, and then fight it. Yeah, I'm probably getting way too ahead of myself there, but yeah. Am I watching the right season?
Thank you.
Yeah, alright. This was season 1, wasn't it?
He's one of them. We're again. It must be one in battle.
Does this mean we're going to get a Moff Gideon? Actually see him. Yeah, that was horrible.
It is time to retake Mandalore.
Retake it from whom? It's empty at the moment. I'm getting prequel vibe. Shit vibes. Come on, where's that Star Destroyer? Not Star Destroyer, but the Moff Gideon ship.
I am not a criminal.
That voice
Basic is not my nature.
sounds like Chancellor Valorum.
We are Mandalorian.
Interesting.
We love each other.
Sorry, I've got to bring you back home, Chip.
After that, you can do whatever you want. Waiting for us on Plaisir 15.
So they're not bad then.
No, I love you.
Please go. I can't destroy everything.
The voices don't suit
We
the
need
aliens.
fate not on our side.
Who cares about fate?
Who cares about fate? I love you.
And I will always
The Quarren. Oof.
Welcome to Plaisir 15.
I actually thought that was my phone.
Direct democracy.
You think we're gonna have to
I feel like that's almost similar to what Crazy Earth design I've seen that someone's trying to do.
Everyone, special guests, Mandalorians. I hope you like secretion.
From here it looks like Jack Black. Surely not. There we go.
Let's address the band that is
Finally aliens everywhere.
once
Oh my gosh.
facilities planning officer for the war.
Jack Black in Star Wars. That's freaking awesome.
To help
Those are ill-equipped to confront battle droids.
battle droids.
droids. They've been rehabilitated for civic duty.
We thought.
Show me those battle droids.
Mandalorian
Please.
outside your city.
Weaponry and armor are intrinsic to your culture, are they not?
They are.
You see where we're going here?
You want us to eliminate your...
Oh my goodness, we've actually seen the B1s again.
A captured Imperial robot scheduled to be
That is just like the best casting ever. First Jack Black, and now we have the dog. Oh man, that's so good. Hey you, no droids. I did it.
droids until we can fix the problem.
Just hearing Christopher Lloyd's voice, it just brings pure joy to my ears.
Ugnaughts.
So an interesting story has developed. I wasn't quite sure where they was going with it, with the that weird alien love story with the Quarren. But now it seems to be heating up quite nicely.
I am Bo-Katan Kryze. Which one of you is in charge?
That's so cool. That's so freaking cool.
Sent on behalf.
And help us with our task. I have
That's
spoken.
spoken, yes.
Thank you. We are in your debt. I have spoken.
I miss Quill. He was great. Wow. That noise.
Droids since the Clone Wars.
I have.
Any of them look suspicious?
They all look suspicious.
Oh my
This is a area. You are to vacate immediately.
Do you have
ask me questions.
The loaders undergo maintenance protocols. As a safety measure, the certification is
You're under arrest.
Excuse me. Excuse me, sir.
Bloody hell. And we've got Terminators on the go.
Research.
Never seen them be so agile. It's almost like they're floating around. This is a cool planet. I really took to this. It's an awesome planet. Creepy how B2 super battle droids work. Like how they're moving. Thank you for your service. You know how I've always said
Really not helpful.
about there not being like loads of aliens, and this episode it just filled to the brim with aliens.
This is the address.
And then what I said at the start about it not feeling massive and big in scope, this episode feels massive and huge in scope. It feels so Star Wars. It's amazing. So fun. Hey you. Say it. Say it. Oh.
Start answering questions, I'll yank your memory circuit and dissect it back at the lab. Nobody leaves.
I love this is brilliant. I love this.
Stay where I can see.
A droid cantina. Who thought that one up?
It's the least we can do.
I want to go to that bar.
I have a record of
I prefer that than an alien one, I think.
That is not how it works here. There is
Present.
What are the chances that they're still active?
No, not the dog. Nah, I won't believe it. Great Scott, oh my god, imagine if he says it.
I never give up. I didn't give up to the corrupt Republic. I didn't give up to the Empire. And I won't give up to you. Separatist is a pejorative term. Count Dooku was a visionary.
That's so good. Oh, I was listening to that monologue about Count Dooku. I was enjoying that.
Despicable. If that isn't the Quacta calling the stiffly.
So cool seeing him.
I beg your pardon.
And Jet Black fits in so well as well.
Unrecognized.
Don't touch him.
You are now a knight of these.
No, you are Jedi Knight.
Brave travelers.
Or Luke Skywalker.
Again.
Milady.
Now approaching.
It's a dark saber they should recognize.
Then I challenge you.
I did say.
One warrior to another.
And we know where that line came from.
Do you accept my challenge?
I don't like that other girl, Mandalorian, the one who challenged Boba Fett. I will never forgive or forget.
The Mandalorian that they were. Certainly as much as any of us.
Wow, what a
But
compliment.
according to our
He's
ways,
more so.
the ruler of Mandalore must possess the...
Then she shall have it.
What a waste, Din. I think that all makes perfect sense. Bryce Dallas Howard, when she did the previous episode, the one where she's on Tatooine and the Book of Boba Fett, and I said throughout, something she did, she just nailed the atmosphere. The atmosphere was so perfect and felt Star Wars-y and felt like I was watching a movie, and I loved it so much and I felt so emotionally involved in it just because of the surroundings. It's something which I just picked up on immediately, and the exact same thing happened again when it was going through all of the streets. There was just something about the atmosphere. I don't know what it was, but it just felt. I even said it. I was like, "This feels so Star Warsy in there," and she's done it again. Like literally the exact same thing. I don't know how she's done it, but I think to me it feels clear in my mind that she should be probably given more more chapters to do. I mean, I would have been very happy if she literally did the whole of one series of The Mandalorian or all of it. I think her style really encapsulates both prequel era and original trilogy, as well as some sort of merging in there. And I just love, so much the callbacks to the previous droids. I mean, that droid cantina, well, that was just genius. Like seeing him sipping on oil. And then literally I was waiting for that line for them to say, "Hey you, no droids, but no organics," or something like that. That would just be, maybe too cheesy, but I was kind of hoping that there as well. So like I said, was we expecting some sort of big reveal or something just before Celebration? That, like, character-wise, no, I mean, there was no Luke Skywalker moment or anything like that. But in terms of characters, Jack Black, what a brilliant idea to have in The Mandalorian. I love Jack Black. I think he's a brilliant actor, one of the kindest actors as well. So to see him have a role in here, and he plays it so perfectly well as well. I want to see him revisited later on. I really liked his character. And also Christopher Lloyd in there as well. Man, it was so iconic. And the fact that he plays a separatist in there, and he even mentioned the word Count Dooku. I mean, that was just perfect. He fit in so nicely there. And to see the Doc still acting and just being so perfect when he acts as well, I think that's just really special. They kept that very hush-hush, but that was a really nice surprise to be sure, but a welcome one. Yeah, so the whole, I think stylistically as a whole, it was very imaginative and very sort of eye candy. There's a lot of eye candy moments in there, but I think for the whole of this episode, I just really like how Bryce Dallas Howard directs. I think she's really talented, and I think she should take on more Star Wars projects. I don't know why they keep sort of hiring different people to do movies when there's just an obvious choice right there that she should be given a standalone movie. I wish that she, if The Mandalorian was turned into a movie, I'd want her to do it. If she had her own Star Wars standalone movie, I think I'd want her to do it. I don't know how to explain it, but when you watch it, it sits right. There's some visual element in there, like the atmosphere, it just all sort of blends seamlessly in. I don't know how to explain it except donning it with the word as Star Wars-y, and that's exactly which I think I look for in The Mandalorian, and sometimes it veers off for that a little bit, but this certainly had it. Even seeing Bo-Katan and fight Axe, is that his name, at the end there, and I'm thinking, she's obviously going to win, so how they're going to do it to make it exciting, and they do. It's made very exciting to see live action Mandalorians, seeing what the kind of duels we saw in the Clone Wars, and the nice callback to Pre Vizsla and Darth Maul, even the lines there as well, one warrior to another. And I'm rewatching all the Clone Wars at the moment, so there's I noticed a lot of references from that in this episode, which I absolutely loved as well. The only thing, obviously with the build-up with the Mandalorian, taking back Mandalore is establishing itself again, and I think it's going to turn it into something big. However, I cannot sort of deny that I do miss seeing the Mandalorian, Din Djarin and Grogu just out together doing something special together, and Din's sort of allegiance is with the Mandalorians, I suppose, and he's obviously helping them and doing it. Now he's given away his Darksaber. He's sort of become a side character in his own show, almost like standing behind a bit of Bo-Katan and Kryze. And that's a good thing, but in moderation. Because I think Din has importance in the important things in the galaxy. I mean, if you cross paths with Luke Skywalker, Ahsoka Tano, you know, then you have purpose, I'd say, in the Star Wars galaxy. Like, there's some meaningful reason for that, and those are the bigger hands which are at work, which I assume with The Mandalorian would sort of follow up, especially after the Book of Boba Fett. I just wish those episodes from the Book of Boba Fett was in The Mandalorian, because I thought we would get a Boba Fett sort of crossover in The Mandalorian to sort of, you know, level it out a little bit, because those episodes in there, or the episode of The Mandalorian and Boba Fett, was literally one of my favourite episodes ever throughout all the series. There's that one, obviously the one with the Great Dragon, that was amazing, and the Luke Skywalker one as well. So maybe we're not going to get a Boba Fett sort of reunion in this. It would have been cool, and then that would have sort of, you know, paid off nicely for his future season, which I assume will be happening. But yeah, I'm really, really curious. Where the bloody hell is Moff Gideon? What's happened to him? Like, he's disappeared. And is he working the sidelines? I thought he was going to be working with these Mandalorians, but I kind of like the idea that Bo-Katan's taken back a fleet, but where is Moff? We know what he's capable of, and to have someone with, you know, his skill and, you know, character, who we were introduced to earlier on, and now not see him, and it's probably not going to be to the end of the season now. That feels a bit sad that he's not being utilised, because he was a very important character, and there were so many interesting things which were to do with Moff Gideon, which could lead up to interesting other things, you know, like his droids and what he wanted with the cloning and Grogu and everyone. Like, he had a lot of interesting things that the Mandalorian Din needed to explore and work out. But one thing I'm just so skeptical about, and this is the problem I find with the Mandalorian at the moment, because I want to enjoy it, I want to have a great time. Like I said many times, Mandalorian sort of saved Star Wars for me in a way. It had its own style, its own thing. It did its own thing. It had interesting stories and brought back the right people, and it fit nicely into the story. It was exciting. It's interesting, and it makes you think about it. But it just edging closer and closer, and knowing that we're heading to the sequels is a massive red flag for me, like really big. And I would have thought if they weren't heading in that direction, they could sort of, you know, hint that they're heading in that direction. But if they weren't, then I assume you'd be savvy and hint that maybe then there might be other paths, you know, there might be something different. And, you know, the New Republic that they're talking about, etc., etc., they haven't quite said the Resistance or anything like that, but I still can't help the early episodes where I kept hearing the Resistance theme, like on the Coruscant one, with those people and the Dr. Pershing, and also the previous one where you heard it played there in the background as well. So there's just those like elements which are being planted for the sequels, but nothing else planted for any other potential stories which could be going on, which could stray away from the sequels, which I'm just hoping for so much. That is the big concern, because I think it would be very foolish. I think that's the sequels are the thing which divided Star Wars fans, and I think the thing that brought together Star Wars fans was The Mandalorian. If I'm stepping back and looking at the greater picture, and for the sake of Star Wars and all Star Wars fans and what I've seen and read and everything and watched, then I think the way to go, this is the way, is for The Mandalorian to do its own thing in Star Wars, not to be connected to, you know, the sequels in any way, shape or form. The Mandalorian was a talking point. The sequels were a talking point for the wrong reasons and became an absolute dead talking point. And I wouldn't want The Mandalorian to head in that direction. So I think one of the things with Celebration I'm really looking forward to is the Ahsoka panel. If they show a trailer in there, and then you might find something, you might know something, and if there's a hint of the World Between Worlds place, then that's going to be a big eye-opener. And I'm going to be just... come on. But I really hope something like that will happen. In the current scenario of Lucasfilm, maybe that's probably not going to be the case. That's wishful thinking. But yeah, overall, I did think it was an amazing episode. I was slightly taken off guard at the beginning with the Quora and also the Mon Calamari love story there as well. That was interesting, but I suppose it was amusing to begin with. But an interesting story, amazing planet, amazing visuals, very well directed, and yeah, and it progresses the Mandalorian story further, and it sets the hierarchy up for the future of Mandalore with Bo-Katan as well, which I think is pretty good. Which I'm hoping once that's all set up and looked after, then Den goes off with Grogu, and then it sort of moves on. I think this season's just going to focus on literally the rebuilding Mandalore, and I hope once that happens, then it's sort of left to flourish in a way, and then the Mandalorian can go off and explore the galaxy and do his Mandalorian things and meet Luke Skywalker. But yeah. But anyway, that was my reaction. I hope you enjoyed. I can't wait for Star Wars Celebration. I literally leave tomorrow. So hopefully there's going to be lots of Star Wars stuff coming up. But until next week, take care of yourself. And remember, the Force will be with you always.